Going live.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Nottingham. It is the final day of the World Championship of Amateur Poker, and we are going to be following the final 9 in their quest to win the main event, big event of APAT's year. This is the World Championship of Amateur Poker. So the players will be called in. As you can see, they're beginning to join the table. They will be coming in any minute now. And here are, let's see if we can bring them up. Here are your runners and riders. These are the 9 that will vie for the bracelet, gold medal, and £15,000 top prize. So bear with us for a minute, and we shall have cards in the air very, very shortly. Remember guys, we have an open chat box today, so if you're supporting any of the players, if you'd like to see what's going on off of the main stage here at Dusk till Dawn, just let us know in the chat box, and we will be glad to talk to you. Leigh, it's been a great 5 days, a lot to look forward to today. How are you feeling?
I'm very good, Des. Very good indeed. Got to try and remember all these 9 players from last night. It was a busy old day 2, wasn't it?
There is a lot of them still left. One name stands out, I think, in particular, certainly for the APAT community, and that is Dave Amos. Playing for Raise the Jack. Dave, of course, a well-known and long-term APAT community member. And I suspect he will get a lot of support through the day. But this is not all about Dave, that's for sure. We've got another 8 players, highly capable. They've come through a field of 692, who created APAT's largest ever prize pool in a UK-based main event, £104,400. Incredible stuff. £2,000, the minimum payout on this final table today. As quite a result, Leigh. We've been doing this for a long time. It's just been a smashing festival.
So what we'll do, Des, whilst these guys are unbagging their chips, I'll wander around the table. You can just give a shout out to the to each player as we go. So we'll go. We'll start around here at seat 1.
Hold on, Leigh. Hold on. Connectivity problems. Just give me one moment. I'll just put you back to main cam for a moment while the players are debagging. Okay, Leigh, I'm ready to come back to you. So here we go. Here are the 9 competing for the title. Matthew Newman in seat 1. Matthew coming in with just under 6.4 million in chips, Leigh. In seat 2, we've got Neil Wyatt. Neil coming in with 2.6 million in chips. Then in seat 3 is Chris Ralston. Now with 10.85 million in chips, Chris is effectively a joint chip leader, very, very close with Dave Amos at the top. That's Dave in seat 4. Dave's got 10.9 million chips, so the two lads pretty much tied there. Elliot Crowder, who qualified here at Dusk till Dawn, has got 9.1 million in chips. In seat 6, Steve Frew, we saw him on our feature table numerous times yesterday, again with 9.1 million in chips. Seat 7 is Lewis Mitchell, 9.2 million in chips. In seat 8, we've got Gary Spinks with 4.4 million in chips. And finally, Leigh, all the way around, this is a big table, all the way around in seat 9 is James Martin. Showed lots of aggro moves yesterday. I thought he played very well. 6.9 million in chips. So our shorty is Neil Wyatt in seat 2. Chip leaders, directly to his left, Chris Ralston and David Amos, both with approximately 10.9 million in chips.
Oh, and what I should show you.
Leigh, there we go. It's the bling. Look at that. So a unique bespoke bracelet for the winner. This is an expensive item, and of course the APAT National Championship gold medal. Both prized, both unique, hard to get. But our winner today will walk away with both of those. We'll have silver and bronze medals, of course, for second and third as well, plus a very, very tasty prize pool. I can just give you a sense of what's on offer there. So the first out today will get £2,000. Eighth place will get 2.5. Seventh will get 3,000. Sixth, 3.5. Fifth will get 4,100. Fourth will get £5,000. The bronze medalist today will take £7,000. The silver medalist, £10,000. And our gold medalist, our bracelet winner, will take £15,000. Pretty exciting stuff.
I think Tom might say a few words, so I'll see if I can get a mic at him.
Okay, I think we're about to call Shuffle Up and Deal. APAT's own Tom Brady will say a few words.
It'll only be to us, but it's not for you to talk loudly to them. Are you not saying anything? Yeah. Just for them, but for us as well.
So it's been a smashing few days here. There's a Mixed Max Championship going on down on the bottom level as we speak. But the main event is our big event of the day. I suspect we'll have quite a rail behind us through the day. It's still early here yet, though. Is this Premier League style, Leigh? Are we waiting for the minute of 2 p.m? We can't kick off early. All systems will melt.
We good? Glenn's like that guy from... Yeah.
That is APAT's Tom Brady, who has been responsible for pulling together the schedule. There's been
okay, guys. Thank you again. Thank you very much for playing. APAT, it is our biggest ever UK main event. I keep going on about that. Thank you very much. We've got over £100 prize fund. You're paying for the huge majority of it. I wish every one of you the very best of luck. Best of luck to you guys. So you know, my cousin is in seat 1. It is 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
depending on where you are in the world.
Thank you very much. Best of luck. APAT on the back.
Okay, that sounds like a shuffle up and deal to me.
So we are very much underway there. as Tom said, Button is in seat 1. So it will be Neil in the small blind and Chris in the big blind for this first hand of this final table. 40-minute clocks. We're at level 27 with blinds at 100k and 200k. We've rolled back the clock to make sure there's, say, 33 blind average stack here on this final table. So starting in level 27 of fresh, Des.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great structure, Leigh.
So prize-wise, these guys are now all locked up £2,000. Then it jumps 2,500, 3,000, 3.5, 4.1, then 5,000 for fourth, 7,000 for third, 10,000 for second, and £15,000 up top. APAT medals for the top 3, and obviously that bespoke WCOAP 2023 main event champion bracelet for the winner.
Gotta love it, Leigh, and there's already a bunch of you in the chat box shouting out some good wishes. Let's get some of this.
So Ray's
okay.
from James Martin here, 9 up to 425,000. Hold it all the way round to Chris in the big blind, and Chris has made it $1 million to play, and James is going to make the call. So we're going to see the first flop of the final table. There's in the very first hand with 2 million in the middle. And the board is 5 deuce 6 with a couple of clubs. Action first on Chris. Those green chips are 100k. So we pulled off of the green stack, which is $1 million, I think. And it is. So bet's $1 million. And James is going to let that one go. So one of our kind of 2 chip leaders on the final table takes the initiative very first hand and goes into the chip lead clearly now, because he'll have picked up over $1 million in that pot. Chris wins the first one on the final table, Des.
Fantastic. Nice hand. I'm just trying to sort something out technically in the background, Leigh. I shall leave this in your capable hands for a minute.
So on we go. Second hand. Neil on the button this time, so it's Chris in the small blind, Dave Amos in the big blind. Means it will be Elliot to act first. Elliot had a great run at the UKPC here at Dusk earlier on the year, picked up 70,000 for a second place finish. He folds. Steve Frew next to act, and Steve makes it 425,000. Lewis gets out the way, as does Gary. Round we go to James. He folds as well, as does Matthew out of seat 1. So just the button and the blinds to go here. And it's Neil's button. And who's going to fold? So just the blinds to go. Chris says he calls. With Amos is going to call as well. So it's going to be 3 players to see the flop here. About 1.3 mil in the middle already here. And the board is deuce 8 queen with 2 diamonds. Chris checks. As does Dave. Action round to the original razor. Steve, he checked as well. So we're going to see another queen on the turn. Quick check from Chris. And 525,000 is the bet from Dave Amos. Action round now to Steve Frew, right hand side of his screen. Going to fold. And Chris makes the call. The two chip leaders, the two blinds, are going to see a river card here, and it's another deuce. That's the board. And check from Chris. Oh, actually, no, it wasn't as a bet. Because I thought he'd tap the table, but he clearly didn't. So, bet's $1 million. And Dave lets that go. And our chip leader adds more to his stack. Played 2-1-2 for Chris on this final table. So on we go. Chris gets the button this time. Dave Amos in the small blind. Elliot in the big. And it'll be Steve Frew to act first. Steve folds. And Lewis, top of the screen there, baseball cap on, makes it 425,000. Gary Spink folds, as does James Martin, as does Matthew. Neil, short stack at this final table, gets out of the way. So round to the chip leader on the button. Looks like Chris is reaching for some chips here. Makes the call. Dave Amos folds. Vision on Elliot in the big blind, and he's going to call. So we're going to be 3 players to a flop again. Exactly the same betting as previous hand. Seven, queen, 10 this time. Elliot checks. Lewis, who was the original raiser, and reaching for some chips here. Makes it 350,000. Looks like Chris is going to make a call. He does. Actually, it might have been 375, not 350. Yes, sorry, I missed it. 375. Elliot gets up the way. So 2 players to the turn here. 8 on the turn. Check this time from Lewis. Chris bets out 500,000. Lewis is going to let that go, and our chip leader remains unbeaten. 3 hands played, picked up each pot each time on this final table. Gary's on the lemonade. It's lucky. It's a lucky lemonade, Gary. Yeah. Oh, so you've gone for a little bit of luck with it. Excellent. Deja vu. I like it. Gary's relying on a bit of deja vu on this table. I like it. So next hand, Dave Amos in the on the button this time. So it's Elliot small blind. It is Steve through in the big blind. Lewis folds. Gary folds. As goes James Martin. So we're round to Matthew in seat 1, and he folds as well. As does Neil. Is our chip leader going to get involved in the 4th hand in a row? Hold the front pages, folks. Chris has folded. So raise from Dave Amos on the button makes it 5-2-5. Elliot folds, so just feed through in the big blind to make a decision. He makes the call. There'll be 2 players to the flop here. And King Ace 10 with a couple of hearts there. Steve first to act here. He checks, and Dave Amos makes it 375,000. And Steve grabs a stack of green chips, makes it 1.1 million. And quick fold from Dave Amos. So those that weren't watching yesterday, for the green chips, there are 100,000 chips. The pink chips are 25Ks. 69.6 million chips in play here on this final table. Our 2 chip leaders going into this day were Chris there in seat 3, Dave Amos in seat 4, over 10 million chips each.
I'm back in the
On
room.
we go. Excellent. Well,
I am back in the room. What's been happening?
You just missed 4 hands of poker, Dave. I mean, honestly, what have you been doing?
You don't want to know. You do not want to know.
So Elliot on the button this time. So it's Steve through in the small blind. It's Lewis in the big blind. It'll be Gary first. And he folds. As does James, as does Matthew. Then we go to Neil. And Neil makes it 500,000 to play. Our short stack at this final table, Dave. About committing sort of value. Maybe 20% of the stack there. And it looks like Chris is reaching for complete. And he's going to make the call. Dave Amos folds. So on to the button of the blind. And Elliot folds. As does Steve. Lewis already put 200,000 in the big blind, plus the big blind down for you. He's going to let it go. So we're going to be 2 players to flop here then. And the board is Queen 3-10. Excellent. Chris makes it 500,000.
This is going to get expensive quickly for Neil here, Leigh. He's probably already at one of 2 decisions here, isn't he?
Now he's thrown in a time bank chip for another 30 seconds thinking time. Neil says, I'm all in.
So not unexpected.
Chris is having a little look to see how much that is.
So we know he started with about, what,
And
2.6?
Chris is like, call.
Yeah,
It's pocket queens for Neil. It's ace king for Chris. Queens massively ahead here at the moment. There are out for Chris. 5 on the turn and a 5 on the river. It means a full house for Neil on our short stack. He's going to get a full double up through our chip leader, Des.
That's just exactly what Neil wanted in this first level of the final table. Beautiful hand. There we go. So, Leigh, the chat box, let me just tell you who we've got out there. Tris is out there. Good luck the final line. I thought Lightning was going to strike twice yesterday, but not to be. Tris had a very deep run yesterday. A couple of very, very tough beats, I would say. Eventually saw him depart with 2 tables to go. But thank you, Tris. It was great to see you over the couple of days. Tris goes on to say Dave Amos for the win. Damien's out there as well. Good luck, guys. Thank you, Damien. Chris is there too. Come on, David Amos, take it down. Don Roberts, who I think will be supporting Neil Wyatt here today, possibly, says good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you, Don. Kenneth Kerrigan, where is it? It is at Dusseldorn in Nottingham. Pocket Peg, great event. Made a vlog if anyone is interested. Come on, Gary, says Ignacio. Let's have a look. Jimmy for the win. I busted in 12 last night, losing the Ace King versus 8-8 flip versus Chris for 11 million. This is Ben Shannon, who we saw on the outside table, Leigh, last night. Jim Harcott's there. Confusing as to why Gary Spinks is wearing Triton branded clothing. Well, he may have bought Triton branded clothing. I'm pretty sure he's not sponsored by Triton, but who knows? Has he played a 25k buy-in event? Well, I've seen a lot of people in World Series of Poker gear. They haven't always played that. I don't think there's anything in it. Fluky said, I think he was heads up against Ivy that one time, wasn't he? Do you know, now that you mention it? Was that Gary? Well done, Ben. And Ken Kerrigan says thanks. So a lot of you out there.
Cool. Well, this very next hand, it was Lewis on the small blind, Gary in the big blind. It's folded all the way around to Neil with his newfound chip stack. He's made it 425,000. That's been repopped to 1 million by our chip leader, Chris. And Gary in the big blind has just popped a time bank in the middle to have another 30-second thinking time, Des. In goes the second one. And eventually makes the fold. So back round we come to Neil. Original Razor, he's going to let it go as well. So, and Chris shows Ace King. So, yeah, Neil gave.
Here we we go. Wayne Parker says, Amos for the win. I've been given a TV remote control, Leigh.
Excellent. What are we putting on?
Is there football or Little House on the Prairie or something?
This is the problem nowadays, because TVs are all designed these days to be environmentally friendly and efficient, and if you've not done it for a while, it'll go and turn itself off.
Absolutely.
They're not designed for being put in poker rooms for 10 hours a day, are they? Just with a tournament clock on.
Absolutely, but I'm not sure handing the remote control to me was the best idea, Leigh. That's what I'm
You
saying.
just need. I'll give you the nod when you need to press OK. That's all you need to worry about.
Mr. Currigan says, were there many Irish over there? There was a ton. Lots of Irish players here. Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland. Great bunch. Enjoyed themselves to the max, as you'd expect.
So this hand, Gary in the small blind, and it's Jimmy Martin in the big blind. Folded all the way around to our chip leader, Chris, who's raised it up to 600,000. He's got it through as far as the blind. So just Gary and Jimmy to act here. And Gary folds, as does James. So chip leader going to scoop a few more blinds than Anthony.
Rich get richer. So Leigh, elsewhere in the card room today, the Mix Max is underway. We have 68 runners in that. Great field for a Monday. The Deuce 7 triple draw is underway with 51 players. And again, both of these events have late reg running. We've already got 15 awaiting the 4 p.m. kickoff of the PLO 456. And we've got a tag team competition coming in at 5 p.m. To complete our 23 bracelet events here at Dusseldorf. And of course, there's another 2 online.
Now I should. This is the point where I do make it clear that although I am, obviously we're doing this live stream of this final table, I am available for the tag team should anybody need me.
How about me, Leigh? Would you play in a team with me?
I think I may need somebody that actually is going to be free to play. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to play by 5 o'clock, but we could work it together, couldn't we? Somehow.
Yeah.
We'll find some way of making it work. So this next hand, it's Gary's button this time, which means James Martin's in the small blind, Matthew is in the big blind, and Neil's folded, Chris has folded. Round to Dave Amos we go. He gets out the way. Elliot made it back a little bit late for this hand, so he's missed those pocket aces we got dealt. You have to do without. And we're round to Steve through. Steve's going to make it 425,000 though. Lewis gets out the way, so we're round to the button and the blinds. Gary folds on the button. As does James in the small blind, and Matthew's going to make up the big blind. So it's going to be 2 players to see a flop here. Watch it from this side.
Yeah.
One here. Ace King 4, and Matthew will be first to act. He bets 575,000. If we can get there, we go. There's Stephen. And he's going to make the call, so we're going to get to be a turn with these 2 players guys. And it's another king. Check this time for Matthew. And Stephen checks as well. So the river card is going to be a 6 of spades. Brings a 3rd spade on the board. A check from Matthew. And Stephen checks as well. Ace 10 for Stephen. Ace Deuce for Matthew. So the 10 will play. Stephen's kicker plays, and he will pick up that pot.
Nice little pot. Cheers. Great event, said Ben. Had some fun over the weekend. Well run event, guys. Thank you, Ben. Jordan says, let's go, Lewis Mitchell. Indeed. You've had an offer, Leigh. You've had an offer. Stefan Fisher has said, I will with you, no problem at all. play the tag team event, Leigh. Let me just fill that in. So, Leigh and Des, who do you think is going to win? Stefan follows up with.
Oh, now that is a tricky one. Now, we've pretty much had, I think, all of these guys bar Chris on the feature table yesterday for a serious length of time. Chris was always on one of the outer tables, but actually had a decent stack of chips, didn't he, really, all day. I'm not sure I could call this, Des, at the moment. Not the way the stack sizes are at the moment. They're all playing pretty good poker. I thought Neil's play with the queens was superb because Flo played it, dropped a time bank chip in. You know, I mean, yeah, really made it, sold a story there, I think, which obviously the chip leader perhaps was always going to call down anyway, but with his drawing hand. But yeah, I thought he played it very well. So yeah, some very good final night, as you'd expect. In a field of 696 runners, these are the finest amateur poker players around at the moment that have made this final table.
Absolutely. More to the question, who do you guys think is going to win? So Jim comes in with Steve Frew or Jimmy Martin. Jim Harcourt. Well, we're going to see. It's going to be...
got a flop here of 993, and Dave Amos had raised it to 425,003. Elliott had made the call. They both checked that flop, so we're going to see the king of clubs on the...
I've given you a tiny bit of extra zoom there, Leigh.
Oh, I wish you hadn't, but anyway.
Shall I take that back then?
Only because I can get the flop and both of them in, so...
There we go.
So Dave makes it 400,000 on that king on the turn. Elliott makes the call, so we're going down to the river here, Dave, and it's the 4 of spades on the river. Next from Dave, he's a 700,000 bet from Elliott. 7 of those green 100k chips. Vision back on our joint chip leader coming into the final table, Dave Amos. And he's going to let those go. And Elliott shoots that pot. And on we go.
Fluky says anyone's game. Seems like Chris has come to play today. Yeah, he's got the chips to play with.
Well, whilst you were doing a bit of tech stuff, Dave, he won the first 3 hands of this final table.
Did have a little bit of
3
slip.
of 3.
Did have a little slip against Neil though.
Well, yeah, but I don't mind the hand as well. I mean, you can't win every single hand on the final table or any tournament, to be honest. But what he certainly is doing
He's getting involved, right?
is getting involved in hands. Yeah, so very much that is the way. So on we go. So we're the button has made it all the way round back to Matthew, who had it to start with. So we've completed one first orbit here now on this final table. So it's Matthew's button this time, which means it's Neil, Wyatt in the small blind, chip leader still, I think, Chris in the big. Dave Amos to act first under the gun. He folds, as does Elliott. Round we go. Steve Frew out the way. Lewis folds. Gary quick folds from there. Jimmy Martin folds. So we're round to the bottom, just the 3 to go here. And Matthew folds. And it's on the blinds then, Des. And Neil makes it 450,000. And Chris is going to make the call. So 2 players to the flop here. All heart. 8, 4, 8. Check from Neil. And Chris checks as well. 4 clubs on the turn. Check from Neil. One from Chris. So the river card is a 3 of spades. Check again. Chris checks, shows the 3 for Jack 3 of diamonds and 3 on the river. There's enough for Chris to take that one down. Gets a few more of his chips back off Neil. 2 hands he's won against Neil since the double up. And on we go, Des.
On we go. These are your players. Some interesting poses there, Leigh. Some creative, thoughtful poses, I think, from this field of players.
So next hand is Chris in the small blind, and it is Dave Amos in the big blind. Elliot folds, Steve folds, Lewis folds. Around we go to Gary Spink. Top of his screen. Gary folds. As does James. And Matthew makes it, it's 475,000, I think. Neil folds on the button. 2 blinds. Chip stacked. Chris folds. Dave Amos on the big blind then. He's going to fold, and Matthew will pick up that pot. Blinds and ante. Oh, next hand, Dave Amos in the small blind. It's Elliot in the big blind. Busy folding all the way around again. Steve out the way, Lewis out the way. And we're around to Gary again. Very consistent with his thought processes before making a decision come on action. And he's going to raise it up this time. And he makes it 700,000. James folds, as does Matthew. And we're all the way around now to Chris on the button. He folds. Just the blinds to get through. Dave Amos folds in the small blind. So Elliot big blind, he's up the way. And Gary Bet takes down that pot. 3.
Leigh, I've been joined by a guest here. He's just say hello to Rinty Monaghan. One of our chatters in the chat box asked whether we had many Irish players over this week, and I did answer the question with a lot of players from the south and indeed the north. Rinty's brought a bunch of lads over from Northern Ireland. They took part in the team championship. I think it had a whale of a time. How have you found it, Rinty?
It's been an unbelievable 5 or 6 days. Can't wait to get back again. That's if we get home with this airstrike. The guys are absolutely loving the place. The casino's amazing. We've never been here, but we definitely will be back. And we have a few medals to take home and a few pounds, and the boys couldn't be happier.
That's the way it should be, right? Oh, there we go. We're on the telly, Rinty. We're on the telly.
Lovely.
But that's the way it is. So where will the medals go to? Will the lads keep them at home, or will they go in a sort of a club trophy cabinet?
No, I put up 2 trophy cabinets about 6 weeks ago, and we're filling it very, very fast. My friend won the tournament in Dublin last night for a big trophy, so
20,000, right?
he got 20,000 euro even, and he's 2 trophies coming home because he won the tournament Friday night, and we have 2 trophies, 2 medals going home.
I'm going to cut you off here a second because Gary's all in
for it, Leigh.
and is being called by Dave Amos on the button. Gary's pocket jacks. Dave Amos has ace king. So proper race on here. It's the jacks that are going to be at risk here. Here we go.
Yeah. Here we go.
Loose 8-9 on the flop with a couple of diamonds. Ace of king of diamonds now there as well. 6 on the turn. Needs to avoid the diamond on 8 to a king. King on the river, and we're going to lose Gary Spinks. First player out on this final table.
Unlucky Gary Spinks.
We're going to lose Gary.
You might have a word with Gary Leigh.
Fine.
That's my new English friend Gary, just gone, just busted.
That's unlucky Gary, played well yesterday.
Yeah.
See if we can have a quick word with Gary.
So Gary out in 9th. Lee's just going to have a quick word with him.
So Gary out in 9th. I mean, it was a flip, but how have you found the event?
Yeah, eventually.
Kind of quality of fun. You played with these guys yesterday and a little bit today. How did you play? Right, it's been absolute pleasure watching you play, and for you to just make up, we've been here and a number of years back in the cash for the now that's staying fantastic engine.
Thank you very much, Gary. Thank you very much. There we go. So that's Gary Spinks out in 9th place.
Well played, Gary Spinks. 9th place, great performance. Ben Shannon in the chat box. Unlucky Spinksy. Should have had more lucky lemonade. Indeed, Leigh. He played really well yesterday, and just a tough break there in the final table. 9th for Gary Spinks. £2,000. Very nice.
He actually spun up a great stack yesterday from 400,000 when I seen him when I busted in 63rd, and I seen today he hit 4.4 million starting, so he must have had a great day.
Yeah, he was very busy yesterday. What we saw in particular was that he was the player at the feature table that was willing to, just risk his chips on all occasions, putting players to the decisions all over the place. Worked well for him, but alas, not to be today.
There you go. We are. You got to look to see what games we're playing today. This is our last day, and you never know. Maybe a wee bit of silver. We're heading home.
It'd be nice. I saw Liam Crawford took a silver last night, one of your players. Mix Max running today. I mean, there's a ton of tourneys, right? It just seems to never end. It's a magnificent card room, is it not? Almost certainly the best in the UK, if not further afield.
Yeah, it's one of the best ones I've been in. The staff in the place are absolutely amazing. Always a smile on their face. Bar staff, door staff, everything about the place is just amazing. So we really can't wait to come back to it.
Fantastic. Well, we'll hand back to you, Leigh. So, Rinty Monaghan, non-playing captain of the Northern Ireland team.
Great to listen to Rinty. The guys have come over for the weekend, and have really embraced the whole event and had a blast. That's for sure. Yeah, shame to see Gary depart there in ninth. There's again, and he just his little exit interview there spoke very highly of APAT and Dusk. He's so he finished second in an event earlier on in the week. So has run very deep in a number of events and loves the events that we put on. As a regular player here at Dusk Till Dawn.
It has been a fairly common piece of feedback that, great organisation here at Dusk Till Dawn, great set of events, well structured, affordable. It's nice to hear it, of course, but yeah, I mean the proof's in the pudding. If you're hearing that from players who have spent their hard-earned to play the events, then it does make you feel good about what you do.
I'm not. It wasn't common, so I can't really hear that. But in my ear, he went very quiet. Really, we'll work to the first question. Get work to the second.
So on the board here of 659, and Matthew's fired out a bet of 525,000. Got Lewis in this hand, and Lewis is going to fold, and so Matthew will take that one down. So on we go. It's Matthew in the small blind this time, and Neil in the big blind. Chris to act first. He folds, as does Dave. As does Elliot. And actually Elliot doesn't. Should say he does now. I knew what was coming. And we go to Steve through. He folds as well. So Lewis now top of your screen, move around a little bit for a bit more space at the end of the table. And Jimmy Martin puts a chip down on his card, suggesting that he's going to make a bet here. And he does. Makes it 550,000. Blinds have just gone up to 125,000, 250,000. Now we're big blind ante of 250,000. And Matthew grabs a stack of green chips there. Makes it 1.375 million. Neil folds, so decision back on James. James folds. Matthew getting a little bit of momentum here, does?
Yeah, he takes someone down. To Matthew's left is Neil, and Needham's out there showing a bit of support. Good luck, Neil. He disappeared very sharpish last night, Leigh and Neil, when we bagged up for the final table. He ran for the door, probably off to share the good news with family, friends.
So on we go next time. Neil in the small blind this time, Chris in the big blind, so it'll be Dave Amos to act first. So raise from Dave Amos to 550,000 here under the gun. It's folded all the way back to Lewis, who's made the call. James Martin's out the way. Matthew's made the call from the button. I mean, chip leader here, Chris, is in the big blind days.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much value in the middle here with 1, 2, 3 others already in there. He's going to make the call as well. So we're going to have about 2.5 million in the middle here, Des, before we see a flop. 4 players are going to see it. I mean, it's deuce 7, so deuce 9 ace with a couple of spades. Next from Dave Amos. Check from Lewis. Check from Matthew as well. Actually, so we're going to see a turn which is the 7 apart. And Dave Amos makes it 750,000. Lewis folds. Matthew folds. After Chris and Dave Amos will take that one down.
Nice bit of play from Dave Amos.
Considering he put in about 550 of that 2.5 million, there's
Yeah.
that's about 2 million he's added to his stack in that one hand without actually
very nice.
going to showdown. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like Chris came in quite lightly there. Obviously, you know, he saw chips going in, a little bit speculatively maybe, but profitable.
Well, the thing, yeah, but when he's got an under the gun razor,
yeah,
another caller, and then the button calls as well, and he's in the big blind with his stack size. To be honest, you're kind of
You
wanting,
sort of have
you're
to,
popping another
you?
you're putting another 350 into a 2.2 million pot.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
So good luck, Chris. From down again.
You could have Mr. Bun the Baker and Mrs. Bun the Baker, to be honest, in your hand. You're probably going to see a flop.
Yeah. The only issue is you don't necessarily see Mrs. Bun the Baker on the flop that often. But when it does appear, there's a lot of chips to be won.
A raise here from Elliot under the gun to 575,000. Steve Frew has got out of the way. Lewis has called. Decision now on Jimmy Martin, who's got about second left and is raised it up to 1.5 million. Matthew folds. as does Neil. Lines out the way, so we're back round to Elliot. Elliot took them all in. Lewis folds. He'd already called Elliot's bet. Decision on James Martin.
He's counting his chips out here.
He's already popped 2 of his time banks in front to say, you know, they're definitely if needed. Was the decision for his tournament life here.
Well, that's number 3, and he releases.
And he's going to fold. And he's going to fold.
He looks pained. He clearly had something there. Wasn't willing to put his tournament life online with it just yet.
And Elliot scooped up a very nice pot there because he had the original 500k from Lewis's call. Jimmy's made it 1.5 million, so you know Elliot's have picked up over 2 plus the blinds as well. Probably 2.75 million in that hand. There.
Yeah, it's no, there's sizable hands at this point. Juna Thompson and Angus Reid there. Good luck, Chris. Chris getting quite a lot of support in the rail now. £15,000 for the winner today, 10 for second. Of course, the APAT bracelet, gold medal for the winner as well.
So folded all around here to Matthew, who's made it 625,000 to go, Dave. Neil gets out of the way. It's Chris on the button. Chris is going to raise it up to, I think he said 1.1. Yeah, he did. Lines have got out of the way. And Matthew's going to make the call here, Dave. The flop is 5, 10, 6, 2 spades. Action first on Matthew. He checks. Chris reaching for another stack of those 100k greens. He's got them stacked in 20s. So he's got 2 million in his hand, and without even needing to put any across the line, Matthew folds. Chris is going to stack up more chips.
Yeah, Chris looks like he's come to play today, I have to say. How much do you think he has there, Leigh? Well, to be honest, I mean, he's still stacking, obviously, but...
His chip stacking skills are pretty impressive. As soon as you've got them done, I'll give you a count.
Yeah. Started with 10.9 million. He's been busy. He's been in quite a few pots.
So the stacks of greens are in 2 million stacks. So he's got 7 of those. So he's got 1.14 million
14.
there.
Yeah.
Then another 500,000 on top, and then another 500,000 in pinks. So he's got 15 million chips. I think pretty much exactly. I think.
Spot on. Thank you, Leigh.
Start with the day with just over 10, didn't he?
He did indeed. He did indeed. 10.9. So just one exit so far.
Yeah,
Gary
next
Spinks.
hand, Elliot in the small blind, and Steve Fruit in the big blind, and Steve gets a walk. First one on this feature, on this final table, I think.
Don't see many of those.
Steve Fruit, nicely picked up still there, they don't. He's got 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 mil. Just over 11 million.
Yeah. Wayne asked an interesting question. With the final table being at the top of the card room, are you missing some of the rail atmosphere? For sure, I would say so, in that there aren't people railing the final. There are more people watching it on the stream. But I think also the fact that we've added this final table as a third day, which means it started quite early in the day. I think that's pretty much a first for us, Leigh, as far as the main event is concerned. Generally, the final table would happen like late on the final day of the WCOAP.
We've done it 2-3 times.
Have we?
Yeah, we've done it a few times in the past, but not for a little while. So. Yeah, and of course, most people are in the day.
It's a bit quiet.
Most people that are in the card room here are playing tournaments
yeah,
at the moment. Yeah,
absolutely. Whereas, of course, when the final table happens later in the day, there are many more people mulling about.
It's never put me on. What's it?
Mr. Pilgrim says, is there a stream on YouTube? There is, Carl. If you just search for the APAT poker channel on YouTube. In fact, Wayne commented before you in the chat here. Wayne is watching it on YouTube. Wayne, why don't you just put the YouTube link into the chat box?
So raise up here from Matthew under the gun makes it 600,000, and Dave Amos repopped it to 1.425 million. So decision back on Matthew, and Matthew says I'm all in.
Wow.
Dave very quickly calls.
Wow, here we go.
It's pocket kings for Matthew. It's ace king of clubs for Dave Amos. It's going to be the kings that are going to be at risk here. Here we go. 7-3-9 with a couple of clubs on the flop. Another 3 on the turn. So it's going to be an ace or a club. And a 9 is not going to be any good. And Matthew's going to do... Yeah. Dave's trying to claim 2 pair with ace high. Yeah, but Matthew's going to get a full double up through. We're just going to count up how much it is. It's going to be a big number.
Well, that sort of hand played itself.
I'm sure Matthew was a bit nervous when that flop came down with a couple of clubs there. Yeah, he's giving a nod there. There's yeah. It is exactly 6 million. Is the count. So plus Watson in the middle as well is going to put Matthew up on about 12.6 million now.
Wow. Very nice.
So pointing out that one of Dave's stacks was short, but so yeah, that puts Matthew up to 12.6 million, and it's going to put Dave Amos down to 6, 7, 7, and 7.8, about 7.8 million. Dave gives a little shrug of the shoulders. Nice flop for Dave. That looked Dave really opened up his possibilities of actually winning that.
Yeah, it was 3 to 1 to hit a club, and of course any ace, but not to be. But you've got to expect these twists and turns on a final.
Yeah, very much so.
Average chip stack here just 8.7 million, so Dave Rivers so slightly below average, but still reasonably comfortable.
We'll give you a quick, whilst his hands play around, try and give you a rough idea, because the guys have all got fairly stacked on 20s for me, so it makes life a little bit easier.
Nice.
So we already mentioned Matthew in seat 1 now up to about 12.6. Neil's playing about 2.8, maybe something like that. We mentioned what Chris was on. Chris is about 15 million. We now know Dave Amos's stack. We've called that one. Elliot has got 10 million, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah, we mentioned Steve Fruit earlier on. Steve's playing 10.75 million. We're going to see a flop here first of all, so let's do that. It's Elliot and Matthew. Jack 6 King Rainbow. Check for Matthew. Elliot finds that a bet, and that gets that through. Lewis has got 4.5, 5.5. That's 5.7, and Jimmy's got 2.4 because he's great, right? So he just tells me, saves me even counting it. So 2.4 ish.
Well, it's easier for him, Leigh.
2.4 with some loose change down the back of the sofa. yeah.
So it's Jimmy
Very
and
much.
Neil who remain
Yeah.
the short stacks at our final table.
So raise up under the gun to 600,000 from our chip leader, Chris. Looks like Neil's going to make the call out of the big blind here, Dave. We see a flop of 9, King, 10 with a couple of spades on board. Check for Neil. And 600,000 is the bet that Chris makes. Neil calls that. 3 of diamonds on the turn. Check again for Neil. 1.2 million is the bet this time from Chris. Neil's going to let that go, Des.
There we go. The rich get richer.
So the guys now with 8 left have got locked up £2,500. So 7th place money is £3,000, 6th place money £3,500. Then 5th place will pick up 4,100, and 4th will pick up £5,000. Then we get into the medal positions. Bronze medal position, 3rd place will pick up £7,000. The silver medalist is going to pick up £10,000, and the winner, the APAT gold medal, the WCOAP 2023 main event bracelet, plus £15,000 up top. I will, for those of you that might be joining the stream a little bit late, let me head over and show you what is alongside the players here on this final table. There is an APAT gold medal, and there's an APAT gold medal, and that is a very bespoke, only one in the world, WCOAP.
See if you can get closer, Leigh.
Want me to try and get closer? Yeah? yeah. There you go. And that's what these guys have got alongside them. And one of them is going to take that home with them today.
Looks magnificent.
So a raise from Lewis has been called by Chris in the big blind. And the flops come down all clubs, and it's 10, deuce, ace. Chris checks. And Lewis makes it 475,000. Chris is going to call this, so we're going to see a turn. Turn brings the 4th club. It's in 6 of clubs this time. Check from Chris. Decision back round on Lewis. He checks as well. So the river beans another 6, says it. The 6 of hearts this time. The board. Chris checks. See what Lewis is going to do. Lewis bets 950,000. Chris says a call and shows the jack of clubs, and Lewis has got the king queen for the with the king of clubs.
Nice hand.
Yeah, can see Chris's call there with the jack of clubs on the 4 clubs on the board. Does I think it's it's
Chips go to the far side of the table.
Staff busy in the card room setting up for another tournament, moving chairs around to get it seven-handed for the PLO 456 Championship that's due to start at 4 o'clock, I think, Des, if I'm right. So they're busy shifting chairs, as they always do, to make sure players have as much comfort as they can around the tables.
Yeah, it's amazing how they do it. Just to watch them, the evolution of tournaments across a day. You know, tables fill, they start to empty, more tournaments are fit. It's very much like a big jigsaw. They are pretty talented at what they do here. It is very well organised.
So Elliot raised it up to 600,000 under the gun. Been called by Dave Amos on the in the big blind. So the board has come down Jack 7-5 Rainbow. Dave Amos has checked. And Elliot bet 600,000. Dave is going to let that go, and Elliot scoops that little pot. I say little pot. All the pots here on this final table are pretty big, actually, to be honest. Yeah. But in comparison to some of the ones we've seen so far, that's just a little, raise called by the big blind and takes it down. So effectively, Elliot's picked up their what's he picked up? About $1 million, just under $1 million from that pot.
You know, Elliot, you mentioned earlier, Leigh, he was the second place player in the UK PC here at DTD for 70k earlier in the year.
But we've all done that sort of thing, yeah? We've all done that sort of thing.
Well, speak for yourself, Leigh. I mean, I haven't. You may have.
Yeah.
But he actually won his seat for free in a DTD giveaway.
He did, yes.
So I understand. How nice was that?
Yeah, but we've all spun that sort of thing up from next to nothing.
Well, hold on. Your spin was from a penny, right? His was free.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Honestly. Infinite ROI. Yeah, very nice. Very nice indeed.
Very nice indeed. Leigh, of course,
but clearly got game because it ran deep in that. And then to be now running deep in this with 696 runners as well.
This is arguably
we've got a flop seed fee here. We've got 3 deuce 7 and he's and it's Elliot and Matthew that have checked that down. So we're going to see a 9 on the turn.
It's my type of flop, Leigh.
Yeah. Elliot pops out 600,000 bet this time. Matthew lets that one go. So one will go. Your zooming skills are very good, Des. I must admit, it's very slick. Very slick.
To be, is it okay for you in terms of just holding that camera? You're comfortable with that? Good.
We're very good indeed. Very good indeed. The teamwork is getting quite slick. We've been doing this for,
We have done a few of them.
It's only our second day, folks. Yeah, we're getting used to this. Yeah.
When was the first stream we did together?
We did a stream, first APAT stream we ever did was up in Newcastle, if you remember.
Oh, was that the first one?
Yeah, it sort of was, yeah. And we've done many, many since, and we've done even more APAT shows.
We've done a few.
Yeah, that's for sure. And no one seems to be that bored of listening to us yet. Well, maybe they are, but it doesn't sound that way.
Well, the ones that still don't listen, Leigh, they continue to be bored of not listening to us.
Yeah.
We have done a few. The gentleman on the rail here, he's looking at the tech, singing, that looks like...
What's he got there? Ice cream?
Oh, it looks nice, Leigh. It looks like a frozen coffee.
I'll get... hang on.
We're going to have to go live on the frozen coffee. Let's do it. Here we go. Let's get into the bowl, Leigh. Oh, that looks amazing. Look at that.
That looks good. I like that.
Good choice, sir. Good choice.
I like that. So all in the call, ace king versus sevens, and it's the ace king for Matthews out against James's sevens.
There we go.
3, jack 9 for another jack. Seven's going to hold. And they are going to hold. And we're going to get a count up there on Jimmy's stack. So Jimmy from under the gun +1 shoved with his pocket sevens and called by Matthew. And so Jimmy is going to double up his, it's about 2.4 mil stack. And Matthew will pay him off from about, he had about 12 million, I think, for that hand. So we'll now just drop below the 10 million mark. What happens there is I go to check out the desserts on offer, and we get an all-in the call. So it's a double up for Jimmy. So
Leigh, terrible news. The man with the dessert has left. I think he saw you eyeing a possible freebie, and he decided to get the hell out of Dodge while he could. Ice cream in tow. And then he looked at the table, he pointed at it, and he said, I plan to go there. It was a very Arnold Schwarzenegger type moment. I plan to go there. That's a pretty big logo, Leigh. If that was to fall on you, imagine the damage.
yeah, those stars, they look quite sharp.
Oh, very sharply. As used by Bruce Lee in Beware the Dragon in 1971, starring Chuck Norris and
Anyway,
Tom Hanks.
on we go. On we go.
How's your arm with that gimbal, Leigh? You're going to come back with muscles in your right arm.
So we folded all the way around to the blind here. Steve threw in a small blind. It's Lewis in the big blind. Steve's going to make it 650,000 to play. And decision on Lewis. And he makes the call. So we're going to see a flop here. There's two players in the blinds, blind and blind. Here we go. 7 king 10 with a couple apart. If we can get the two players involved in shot here. So it's a better 400,000 by Steve. And Lewis makes the call, so we'll see a turn. There's another king on the turn and another spade as well. So Steve pops one of his time banks in front. Ends up making it 975,000. And Lewis is going to make the call. So we're going to the river. A big pot building here, Des. The river brings a 4 of clubs. There's check, check. Lewis shows a 7, 9-7, and 9-7 is going to be good enough.
There we go, nice
Steve
pot.
says actually 2.3 million. I changed my mind. He says after Lewis is scooping out the chips. Because I think if he had fired out another bet on the river there,
Yeah.
I think he might have got that through.
I would agree.
Players have got about 20 seconds left of this level, so we're going to play this one more hand, and then we'll be going up. Blinds will be going up again. Next level will be 150,000, 300,000. So this will be the last one at level 28.
Just for your info, Leigh and everyone out there, in the mix max, 72 runners started, down to 59 there now. We've got 58 in the Deuce 7 triple draw, and 21 currently registered for the PLO 456, which will start at the top of the hour. And then we've got the Tag Team Championship, which will start at 5 p.m.
So Elliot and Jimmy here checked the flop of 8, King Ace, 4 clubs on the turn. So he's a bet of 275,000 from Lewis and Jimmy fold. So blinds are up, 150,000, 300,000 for the next 40 minutes. Players are due a break at the end of this level. And as we always say, whilst players take a break, the stream will take a break, we'll keep it running, and we'll go on mute in 40 minutes' time. So.
Just got some railers here with the mix max on a break. Let's see Dave Kingswell, Ben Burnhill. Just come up to take a quick look at what's happening at the final.
So little raise from Steve through here has been called by Matthew in the big blind. And the flop is Queen 87. Matthew's checked on B5 that bet 450,000. That's been called very quickly by Matthew, so we're going to see a turn card here. And it's Jack of clubs on the turn. And it's gone check this time. So we're going to see him 9 of spades on the river. And it's going to go check. Ace 4 for Matthew, and Ace 4 is going to be good enough to take that one down, and Matthew will scoop up nice little pot there out of the big blind.
I see Fru's just been on the wrong side of a couple of those now.
Ace 4's a nice little hand though, isn't it, when you're on the big blind? It's not too much of a raise. You want to see a flop.
Yeah.
When you see an ace come down, you're kind of thinking, well, okay, we'll see how the betting goes on this, but I might be against spot. I'm fairly convinced by the time it went check on the river, Matthew, he was ahead there, really. He could have fired out a little potential value bet, but I guess he's only probably getting called by better hands. So quite happy to check that down and a little pot and move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is, I think if Stephen did fire out another bet, Matthew's probably going to have to just go, I'm just going to have to call it here, and it's not going to be anything huge because of the size of the pot. So nicely played by Matthew, I think, actually, in that particular situation.
Team considered, he's playing well. He's had a good opening couple of levels in the zone.
So Lewis has raised this one up to 650,000. James has made the call, and Neil is all in from the big blind.
Blimey.
For 1.325 million. So it's going to be, it's going to count as a raise. So it's going to mean that Lewis has got the option to re-rate if he wants to. This is going to fold, and James is going to make the call. James has got pocket sevens again, and he's up against ace king again.
Well, it's your classic
It's
race.
going to be the ace king at risk this time round. Neil's got the ace king, Jimmy's got the sevens, jack 9 deuce on the flop, and 8 on the turn. It's going to need to be an ace or a king on the river. It's not, and we're going to lose Neil Wyatt in 8th place.
Unlucky Neil.
Very unlucky to Neil. Had a good run on this table.
There he goes. Neil Wyatt finishing in 8th
See if we can have a quick word with. We'll see if we can have a quick word with Neil if he wants to. If he'll have a quick chat with us. Yeah, cool.
So here we go. You know what? 8th place finish. I mean, you came onto the final table as a short stack. But how do you find it?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, like I said, obviously, it's up and doors. And other than that, the extreme I just say all out of them. So, you know, yeah, it's a good run. Enjoyed it. So, very well run. So, thanks for the
696 runners got to the final table. I mean, yeah, I mean it's our biggest main event in the UK. So how do you find the whole event, quality of play? How's it?
Yeah, they're quite really good actually. I mean, I was on the tables on the with a couple of guys on the final table now, and on the tables on day 2 for the game. So, yeah, the play was really good. Enjoyed it. I will be attending again. And hopefully I'll put a shout out. My brother can do a bit better next time.
I saw Leigh railing you yesterday, and yeah, just kind of left you to it today.
Yeah. But he had to have something, so he's going to get something.
We'll let you go and collect your cash. Very well done. We'll see you at another APAT event soon. Brilliant. Thank you very much. There we go. So that's Gary Wyatt finished in 8th place, and we are down to 7.
I'm Neil.
Neil Wyatt. Apologies. Yeah.
My apologies, Neil Wyatt, not Gary Wyatt. Too many Gary who went out one before. Too many names in my head. On we go.
On we go, Leigh. Nice guy. Spoke well.
Let us know if the sound on that one was okay. So now the interview area is just a little bit to the side, and we don't want it. We're trying to make sure it's away, a little bit away from the busyness of the club, so you can actually hear the players. So we are down to 7 players remaining, and got a pot on the go here. King 4 Ace 10 is the board, and Chris, Dave Amos, and Elliot are in this hand. So Chris is in the small blind, Dave was in the big blind, Elliot was under the gun. Dave's fired out a bet on this turn, been called by Elliot, so two players are going to see this river, which is the 6th of clubs, bringing up the 4th club. So Dave and Elliot in this, there is about maybe 4 million in the middle, can you think? Maybe a bit more. So Dave checks and Elliot says 1.5 million. Dave's playing about 5 million. He's got 5 million back. Pops those time banks out in front of him because he's got a huge decision to make here. Shaking his head. fold.
That's a go.
So Dave back down at 5 million now, and Elliot keeping up a huge pot. There you go.
Very nice. Just hasn't been able to get any momentum going, Dave, so far. He's been involved. He's tried a few things, but just not got going thus far.
And his 10 million stack that he started with today is now down to 5, but 2 players have bust. So, it's the guys now with 7 left are all guaranteed £3,000. So he's picked up, everyone's picked up an extra 1,000 already, which is, it's big. But for our games,
cha-ching.
for the 100, the 150 plus 30 buy-in, it's decent money now here, isn't it?
Oh, you bet, Leigh. It certainly is. So the sound in the interview, aerially, just from the chat box, very quiet. We're not quite sure why, but foibles of the tech, I'm afraid. So nice to see Kerry out there as well. It was good to see you over the last couple of days, Kerry. Here at Dusseldorf. Back home now. And Don as well. What a result for the Hammers over the weekend, Leigh. 3-1 win down at Brighton. Impressive stuff.
So Steve's made it 650,000 under the gun here. Pulled it around to Chris on the button, who's called, as has Elliot out of the big blind. So 3 players are going to see a flop here. It is 6, Jack, Deuce. Elliot check, and Steve bets another 650. And Chris says raise, reaches for a 2 million stack of chips as compared to 1.5 million. Counting those out, Elliot folded meanwhile. As Chris puts his 1.5 million in the middle, it's going to be action back on Steve through.
Finds a call.
Going to make the call, Des. So we're going to see a turn card here. Seven of the clubs on the turn. Check from Steve. Says 2 million, grabs one of those back of 20s. And Steve says all in. I think I heard. Yes, it did. Steve says I'm all in. For about 5.5, I think it is roughly. But we'll get a count if Chris wants it. So I think he can roughly work it out from the stack of 20s there. So Chris has made it 2 million and gonna let it go.
It's a nice bit of play by Steve Frew.
And Steve Frew's going to win a huge addition to his stack there.
Very nice indeed.
We'll wait for you to stack them up, and I'll give you an update on Steve's ship stack. But yeah.
It's like a Dyson over there, just hoovering them up at the moment. Steve Frew as Leigh.
Yeah, absolutely. On we go. Next hand, Dave Amos on the button this time, so it's Elliot small blind, Steve Frew in the big blind, which means it'll be Lewis to act first. He folds. Round we go to Jimmy. He's out of the way, as is Matthew. So, how's Chris going to react after losing a chunk of chips last hand? I think he's coming out betting. He certainly is. Makes it 600,000. Dave Amos folds. As does Elliot. Or just Steve Frew's big blinds and note. So first wins the next one. Just picking up the blinds and the antes. First wins the next one. Just picking up the blinds and the antes. So, Dave Amos is all in, and I think he's going to get that through. Does. So, it's a difficult spot here for Dave. I mean, he's down at, so you got 2, 3, probably got about 4 mil now. So he's got, I mean, only got sort of about 14 big, something like that.
Yeah.
So after that one, so before that he'd have only had about 12 big. So yeah, it's kind of getting to that point of it's a jamming back. Hey, for those just joining, blinds are 150,000, 300,000 on this final table of the World Championship of Amateur Poker 2023 main event. 696 runners started this event. 103 minutes day 2 yesterday. This is the final table of 9. We've already lost 2. Gary Spinks going out in 9th place, and Neil Wyatt going out in 8th.
Well done.
I see there's a rowdy railer. He's just shouting across the entire area. One Mr. Paul Haycock.
This is the problem though, because when they start drinking on a bank holiday Monday,
let's have a look, Leigh. Let's have a look. There he is.
What's he's got a whole cup of tea in him. Yeah.
He's a broken man, Leigh. Broken man. I have to say, looks quite dapper though, as a broken man. He looks
so
quite well.
Paul ran deep in the main event yesterday. He caught his exit hand, pocket 7s on a 7-high flop. Got called off by queens with a queen on the turn, and that did for Paul. And
has to hurt.
Fortunately, fairly brutally.
Fairly brutal is right.
Okay, for those just joining as well, so we are 7 left. These guys have all got locked up £3,000 each. Prize money then jumps 3,500, 4,100, 5,000 for for fourth place. Then the medal positions: bronze medals will pick up £7,000, silver medalists will pick up £10,000, and the winner of this will pick up the gold medal, the WCOAP 2023 main event, championship bracelet, and £15,000 up top, guys. I think that's our biggest ever winners
In the UK.
prize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Superb. They will also get on top of that, there's a UKPC seat, courtesy of GGPoker. So they will pick that up. The winners, the England team, also picked up one of those tickets as well, and the eventual winner of the Player of the Series will pick up one of those as well for next January here at Dusk Till Dawn. So a £560 seat on top as well, which will have a huge prize pool.
I think you'll be a minimum of $1 million guaranteed, I'd have thought, Leigh.
So blind on blind here, and it was a race from Jimmy, re-topped by Matthew in the big blind, and Jimmy's re-topped it to 2.1 million, and Matthew's going to let it go. So players just started gathering now for the 4 o'clock PLO 456 Championship. Number of other events already on the go here today. The Mixed Max was first to start at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Deuce 7 triple draw.
Yeah, is on the go, and the whole thing concludes with a tag team championship later on at 5 o'clock. Will be the last bracelet event here at Dusk Till Dawn, but don't think that's the last chance of picking up a bracelet in the WCOAP 2023, because next Friday and Saturday we've got 2 bracelet events on GGPoker. Friday night is the PLO online championship, and Saturday is the No Limit Hold'em online championship. They are £25 buy-ins for each of those. Great way to get in and get a bracelet. Yeah.
Great
and
value.
if you want even better value than that, there are 2 super satellites running on Wednesday and Thursday, where you can pick up a £25 ticket for a fraction of the buy-in. And on Tuesday on GGPoker, we're running a free roll where they're putting 20 of the £25 tickets up for grabs in a free roll. All you need, Des, is the password.
There's a password, Leigh?
There is a password. Absolutely.
Oh, you told... This was World Champ, right? You told me this yesterday. It's all in lowercase?
Des, it's only for those that are here at Dusk Till Dawn.
But it's on the board down there, Leigh. Anyone could see that.
Yeah. For those that are at Dusk Till Dawn.
Well, we're at Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah. So
I've just told you it's World Champ in lowercase.
But you know others are listening to this, yeah?
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the lobby, folks, if you want to go and give it a go. Get
Forget
yourself
that I
a
said
chance
that,
of
guys.
picking up a bracelet, potentially for free, if you can get in on the free roll. Got a board here of 5, Ace, 9, and it is Jimmy and Chris in this hand, and a little bet from Chris was called by Jimmy, and we've seen a turn, therefore, which is 6 of diamonds. It's gone check on that. So we're going to see the 5 of diamonds on the river. Chris is reaching for another one of those stack of green chips, and he makes it 2 million. Jimmy nicely stacked up nowadays. Obviously with shortage, but he's now playing about 7 million behind it. Which is not that much less than actually Chris has got.
Feels like a big...
It's going to call.
He makes the call,
Jimmy
Leigh.
makes the call. Queen 5 for Chris. And Jimmy mucks. And Queen 5 takes it down.
3 5s.
3 5s. Lovely little value bet on the river from Chris. And he's going to add to his stack. I was just saying, actually, as they were going onto that river there, I think Jimmy had about 7 mil behind. Chris probably had about 9.5, something like that. So not a huge amount of difference. 2 million was the bet on the river there, and Chris got paid off. We'll just wait until he's stacking up his chips, and I'll give you an update on where Chris's stack is now. About 13.5 million.
Yeah, still pretty good shape. Average here at around 10 million.
Ryan Brodsky's going to the bar if anyone wants a drink. Just put your orders in on the stream. He'll sort it out for you. Delivers home. He'll do home delivery as well.
Do home deliveries?
He'll do home delivery, so that'll be fine. Yeah.
Top floor man.
As you'll see, it's a hive of activity on the in the middle desk here, Dave.
Oh, look at them!
Look.
There we go.
We've decided that when you get a group of tournament directors, it's a school of TDs. That's what it's been decided.
It's like a scene from Orange is the New Black down there, Leigh.
Yeah, and Glenn is
there he is.
I mean, what is
he
that
wearing?
Shirt?
What is he wearing, Leigh?
Look at that! You zoomed right in on him, Des. You're gonna have to zoom out, Des. Honestly, people at home aren't going to cope with that. Honestly.
There is the Glenn Townsend. Oh, Dave Durkin says, great job on the commentary, lads. I think he must have typed that into the wrong chat box, Leigh. He's probably watching an EPT or something somewhere else as well. Thank you, Dave.
I reckon so. So on we're going to go. It's Dave Amos in the small blind this time, and it's Elliot in the big blind. So it'll be Steve through to act first. He's going to fold.
Leigh.
So we're going to go to Lewis, top of your screen.
Leigh, is Ed Reynolds still on the other side of that board behind you? Wasn't it Dave that was interested in Ed Reynolds?
I think he's finished that tournament now.
Are you sure, Leigh?
Yeah. He did message me to say thanks last night, so I think we managed to get a shot in. Yeah, but it was a pretty busy card from up in that top tier yesterday. I don't think you cut to me by the time I realised how I was trying to get through the tables to get to him. It wasn't easy yesterday.
Well, we pointed the camera at somebody, Leigh. We weren't sure if it was the right guy. Chris Bean.
So Lewis has raised it up to 650,000, and Matthew has topped it to 1.9 million. And folding round. So we're going to go back round to Lewis here.
It's like a very dashing there, Leigh, isn't he? He's got
he's going to fold.
The baseball cap, the shades, very poker-like. That's a nice logo, Leigh. Look at the cut at the top of that.
We keep saying.
I'm telling you, it was the difference between average success and failure, that. Chris Bean is out there, Leigh. He said, I thought it was a shower of TDs. So what is the correct description for a grouping of TDs? You've got a gaggle of geese, a shower of TDs?
I asked Will earlier on, yesterday I think, and he decided school was quite good. Of course,
it's school of TDs, that's very educational. I like that.
He quite like that.
I quite like shower, Leigh. I quite like shower, TDs, something beginning with a T, perhaps. A tornado of TDs,
So Dave Amos is all in again on the button and gets that one through. Kind of feel like Dave has switched to that kind of mode at the moment.
Yeah, he's in that space now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So Dave is saying it was the right place. We are waiting to see Ed win the Deuce 7 triple wearing the 27 jersey today.
Oh, okay, he's in that.
Back.
Okay.
He's back in the seat. Shower of TDs. If anybody's got a better suggestion...
To be fair, I was going to say that Chris Bean's probably dealt with one or two TDs over
I think he probably
time,
has,
so
yeah. I think that's probably
great
reasonable.
Great to see Chris up here earlier on in the week.
But the skull T-shirt, Leigh?
It was a bit... But he couldn't help himself, could he, in that team? He
did chip
just
count.
had to go and do chip count.
Fantastic. Yeah. Chris Bean
couldn't help himself.
Can come to APAT any time. Nosy P asked a technical question. He says, did you have any other logos in mind before? Indeed we did. Indeed we did.
So we've folded all the way around to the blinds here. Steve threw in the small blind and has made up the small blind, and Lewis at the big blind has re-popped it up to 775. And Steve's going to let that go. Very disciplined fold there.
Leigh, just talking about APAT and logos and stuff like that, of course, we had the honour of TK joining us yesterday. He was in the card room. He played a couple of PLO events. Lovely to see him. He was looking really well. He really enjoyed the games. Went deep in the round of each PLO. No cash, unfortunately, but it was great to see him.
It really, really was. Still busy, working hard in the poker industry. Hardest working man in poker, if you ask me. Last time I saw him was in Vegas a few years back, and he was in the media room. Pretty much first. I was second one in there. I think he was first one in there. So there you go.
Yeah.
Make of that what you will. Yeah.
Somebody has to get that coffee machine on. Come on, Jim, take it down, Cakesy boy. $54 now remain in the mix max, Leigh. And we've 62 runners in the Deuce 7, 61 remaining, so we've had one exit there. And we're up to 25 in the PLO 456.
So raised here to 700,000 under the gun from, actually not quite under the gun, +1 from Chris, has been called by Jimmy at the big blind. They both checked the flop of 5, 4, 7, so we're going to see a deuce on the turn. I won't get in too close to it because it doesn't look that exciting a board, to be honest, at the moment. Check from Jimmy. The decision on Chris. He's going to check as well. So we're going to see a river card, and it's an 8. So we've got some. I think Jimmy's reaching for some chips, and he is. And makes it 900,000. Chris fold.
Go on, Dave.
Chris talking to one of his mates on the rail there. And on we'll go. We're talking of the rail. Barry Spinks, who busted in 9th.
He's back.
Just
He's
coming
back,
back
Leigh.
to see what's going on. See how it's all going.
It's hard to let it go.
What might have been, Des, what might have been. What you've seen is, although the chips have moved around here, we've only got one more player. So we're going to be only about 5 minutes away from the first session, shall we say, of this final table. We'll have played 3 levels by then, so players will get a 15-minute break, and we will do exactly the same on the stream. We'll just go on mute for that 15 minutes. But yeah, it looks like the way we're going here, we're going to have lost 2 players in the first session. Very much stick with us because we've got a long way to go in this one. We've got a flop here of 6, 6, 8, and it's Matthew and Elliot with cards in front of them. And Matthew fires out a bet of 700,000. So decision on Elliot in the cap, left-hand side of the screen. Quick fold from him, and Matthew scoops up there. So next hand here, it's Matthew in the small blind. It is Chris in the big blind. Dave Amos folds. Elliot folds. Steve folds, as does Lewis. We're on the way around here. Is there going to be a walk? And it is. Chris is going to walk. Has a look at his cards, but it doesn't make any difference. And he's going to pick up that one.
Well, we all like a walk. If you're enjoying the stream, guys, do feel free to share it and tag any of the players in it. That will be helpful. Create a bit of buzz around this final table. But remember, we are about to go on a break in 3 minutes' time. That will be for 15 minutes. We'll leave the stream running and we'll just cut the audio. And we will see you back for the next 3 levels thereafter.
So Chris in the small blind here, Dave in the big, holding all the way around again. So right round to Matthew on the button. He raises it up this time and makes it 700,000. Chris is going to fold. What's Dave Amos going to do here? We know Dave's quite happy, seems to be playing for his stack. He says all in. I just had this feeling that was coming, Dave. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, let's get in to the table. Dave Amos all in. Decision with Matthew.
And Matthew folds, showing 8-9 of diamonds.
There we go. Andy's out there. What are the payouts, please, guys? So 7th, and we have 7 left, Andy. Guaranteed $3 grand, 3.5K for 6th, 4-1 for 5th, 5,000 for 4th, 7,000 for 3rd, 10,000 for 2nd, and 15K up top, in addition to the APAT bracelets and medals, of course. Very nice. Simon says, good luck, David Amos. And it seems like, Leigh, he's reached that point in the tournament where, you know, he now needs a little bit of luck. He's almost committing his stack at every possible hand that he wants to get involved in.
I wouldn't say every, but he's seeing opportunities.
Yes,
where to put his chips in the middle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not a case of just like any old. It's timing, and that's what we've seen. It's folded round to him on the button, shoved into the blind.
When I'm in seriously.
Yeah. He's seen a raise from the button there. He's in the big blind. Yeah, he's gone. All right, I'm gonna pop my chips in here and put the pressure back on his opponent. So we've got a raise from Lewis here up to 650,000. Matthew has re-popped it to 1.85 million.
Yeah.
So decision was back on Lewis.
He's cutting out some chips.
Lewis says, I'm all in. Matthew's going to call.
Oh, wow. Big
Lewis is
finish
going to have
the
Matthew
level.
covered here. It's ace-10 for Lewis. It's pocket aces for Matthew. It's ace-10 of clubs. As the gimbal goes crazy, we're going to fight it. Here we go. 3, 6, 6. One club.
It's got to be a club.
An ace on the turn.
No, it's not going to help.
Going to do for it. And Matthew's going to get a full double up. Well, I think so. Actually, Lewis seems to think. I don't know whether Matthew's yours are in 15s, yeah? Matthew, yours are in 15s, yeah? Your stack, yeah. Matthew's stacks were in 15s, not 20s. So it might be, yeah. We're just going to get a count on it. Lewis thinks he might be done, but that might not be the case. Des.
Yeah.
Switch cam.
There we go.
That will be the last hand of this level for sure, as we're just going to count up the where we're at here before we go. Pop back on me, Des. So players still hanging around to see how much this is. It's a massive count, that's for sure. Is that Lewis is going to go for a break? He is going to be left with, I think. Yeah. It was close. I'll show you what Lewis is going to be left with.
Oh my word. Lewis is all but destroyed.
Yeah.
All but destroyed.
That's what he's going to be left with. And I'll get a confirmation now. Dealer, what was the count? So the count was 9.7 million. So that means Matthew is now going to be pretty close to 20 million tips. Yes, and the players are on
Incredible.
a break. That's already started, so there is only about 12 minutes, 40 odd seconds left on that. We'll do exactly the same for 12 minutes. We'll see you guys back here at Dusk till Dawn in Nottingham. We're down to 6.
So welcome back, guys, to Dusk Till Dawn. And the players are back from break, and we will recommence our final table with 7 remaining. Average chip stack just under 10 million chips. And we know Lewis is super short and is likely to be in a hand for his tournament life any minute now.
So here we go, then, Des.
Here we go.
We are still on 7, but as you say, for how much longer?
Well, Ben Shannon's come to the chat box. He said, I think Lewis might win this. He's got to win a few hands first, Ben. He has got to win a few hands first.
He's folded under the gun this hand, so he's going to be all in next one. Folded all the way around to Chris, who makes it $1 million to go, and he's going to win the round. So, for those who have been following the stream earlier on, we've got some new grey chips in play now.
Wow.
I'll home in on Matthew's stack so you can see those grey chips there are 500,000 chips. The green's 100k and the pink's 25,000.
Fantastic. So guys, we are live on Facebook, Twitch, we're live on YouTube, we're on the APAT website, we've just gone live on pokernews.com, Leigh. We're in the big leagues.
So, anti-first.
Big game of the Premier League today, Leigh. Newcastle against Liverpool. Oh no, sorry, that was yesterday.
Yeah, we are on a bank holiday Monday here in the UK. So it's going to be Steve Frew in the small blind here. Lewis is all in the big blind with his ante. Not enough to cover that, but he's going to be all in. It'll be Jimmy to act first. He folds. Matthew gets out of the way. I think Elliot's going to raise it up here. And he does. So, this is Lewis. Ace King for Elliot, and Lewis has got Jack 5 at risk. Jack 4, 10.
He's on his way, Leigh.
7 needs to avoid an ace, king, or a queen.
He's on his way.
And does.
He is indeed on his way back. So double up.
No, it's not.
He's not quite celebrating yet, although he is celebrating a little. Go on, Chris, playing well. Indeed he is, Kevin. He's been very busy, Chris has.
So, the blind's at 200, 400,000. Matthew folds, as does Chris, as does Dave. Elliot puts 400,000 in. Steve gets out of the way, check from Jimmy, so it's going to be 3 players. Going to see just having to sort out the pot, which will be the main pot, and then the rest will be on the side between Jimmy and Elliot. Okay, with action still to come. So ace, 6, 3. They've both gone check, check. 9 on the turn, check, check again. 6 on the river, check, check. And it's pocket falls for Elliot. 8, 7 for Jimmy, and 4, 5 for Lewis. And the fours are going to be good. We're going to lose Lewis in 7th place. He might have a quick word with us. Would you have a chat? No, rather not. So Lewis would rather not. So he will depart in 7th place, picking up £3,000. I think still, a little bit with the hand from just before the break, Des.
Yeah, it was a big hand. He did sort of walk back there, but it's all good. It's all good. And we're down to 6, Leigh. Slowly but surely.
So I'll work around the table. So Matthew in seat 1 is now playing about 17 million. Dave Amos is all in, meanwhile. And Steve Frew has asked for a count. And it's 5.575 million. And Steve Bruce says, I'm all in.
Wow. Okay.
Jimmy folds. So decision back here on Matthew, who I just said to you was playing about, I'll say about 17 million, I think I said.
Yeah.
He's going to fold. So it's ace king for Steve. It's pocket 8 for Dave Amos. It's going to be the 8s that are going to be at risk here. And here we go. 5, queen, 10 gives further out for Steve. Here comes the turn. 3 of diamonds on the turn, no good. Needs to avoid an ace, king, or a jack for Dave. And a 10 on the river, the 8, and going to hold.
Wow. Big double
and Dave
up.
Amos is
Dave
going
Amos.
to double up through Steve Frew.
That is huge for the raise for Jack, man.
It was 5.575 million was the count. So that's going to put Dave up now close to 12 million chips. He picked up the blinds and antes there as well, Des. And of course, the blinds and antes these days are worth a move. So the 5.5 double up plus the million, is going to put him up around 12 million now. So as I say, so that's Dave sorted. So I was working my way around the table here. So Chris has got those stacked in 20s for me beautifully. So he has therefore got 10, 12, about 12.5 million, plus a bit in his hand as well that's in the blinds at the moment. Maybe 13, nearer 13 million. Elliot's got about 14.5 million. Steve Frew now very much the short stack here, but has raised it up to 3.5 million. And he's going to get that one through. So Steve has still probably got about 5.5 million, and Jimmy here in seat 9. He's not sure for the first time ever. I'll come to him and he's not sure, but he's got about 5.4. He says that's good. That will do. That will do. About 5.4, we think. So. So we think
Boom,
Jimmy's got
says-
about 5.4. So
Boom, says Simon Lorner. Vamos, says Chris Bean. And Kerry says, yay, lucky 8. So a lot of love for Dave Amos in the chat box, Lee, as you would expect those comments coming through.
yeah. So we are level 30. Blinds are 200,000, 400,000 with a big blind ante of 400,000. Average stack at the moment is 11.6 million. 6 players remaining here, and they have now all locked up 3,500. Let's fold all the way around to Chris on the small blind, and he makes it 800,000 to play. Dave Amos in the big. He's going to make up the big blind there, up to 800,000. So 2 players to see a flop here, but. And it's 3-10-4. Goes check, check. So we're going to see a turn, which will be the ace of spades. On check, check again. So we're going to see a river card. It's a 9.5 on the river. So Chris bets out 600,000, and Dave very quickly folds. And they carry on in the chat. The two have been quite chatty actually on this final table, that next to each other. Tip leaders coming into this final table, and yeah, very friendly, chatting about hands. So Chris raises it up to 800,000, and he's going to get that through the blinds. And under the gun, Jimmy is all in. Actually, not quite all in. I think 4.9 million, got about 100,000 behind.
Oh, I think he's pretty committed, Lee.
Just got the blinds to get through here. Elliot folds, as does Steve. So Jimmy's going to add to his stack. But as I was saying, guys, with $1 million in the middle, every hand here before these guys even start. 69.6 million chips in play in total. But with the 11.6 million average stack, we're still playing just what are we at, 29 big at the moment is the average stack.
Plenty of play.
So Chris raises it up to $1 million. Dave Amos makes the call. And and Elliot on the button gets out of the way. Steve through in the small blind though. Jimmy's in the big blind. And he's going to fold, which means it's going to be Chris and Dave that are going to see the flop here. And it's 8-5-6. From Chris, and Dave hires out 1.2 million. And Chris is going to fold, and Dave Amos adds another couple of million to his stack there, Des, because he had the million that. Well, he had the million that Chris put in anyway, plus the Bryans and Antes as well. So that's 2 million he's just added to his stack.
Feels like he's got the wind back in his sails, Lee.
It's amazing what a double up can do for you.
That's right.
When one of those flips holds, and you feel like you can then get involved in a few more hands that you might not have, and it's amazing how those then mean you just start picking up $1 million here, 2 million there, and just adding to your stack. But it's very much Steve and Jimmy that are the shorter two stacks of this here, but not anything crazy. It's not not on absolute fumes or anything, but they very much are the short stacks of this this table. I think probably Steve is probably playing about 4 million, and Jimmy's gone about 6.5. So 4 million's 10 bigs at the moment. Well, 10 bigs is not, certainly not at this point in the tournament when you're down to the final 6. That's for sure. When ITM starts playing such a massive involvement in your decision making, with the pay jumps going up, these guys now have all locked up £3,500. So next jump is to 4,500. Then we go up to 5,000, then 7, then 10, and then 15 up top. So massive jumps now.
Of course, an interesting variable here, Lee. APAT doesn't allow, facilitate deals. So it's not as if you're looking to get yourself in a specific position with 4 left, for example.
You're saying I can't do a deal to get myself on this final table now?
I'm sorry, Lee. There's no deals. We've closed the buy-ins.
Not even somebody of my stature in the poker community? No?
Well, Lee, your relative buy-in at this moment in time will be about £8,000.
I'll give it a miss. I think certainly seeing the quality of this final table, I'm not sure I'd want to sit here and play against these guys. To be honest.
They're decent. They're very decent.
So now we're down to 6. We got asked earlier on who we think is going to win it. I'm not sure we can call it yet, but let us know in the chat if you're following somebody or who you think you might win it from what you've seen of this final table or yesterday's coverage of the day 2.
I think it's going to be Steve Frewley or Chris. Maybe Elliot, Dave, if he can keep up the momentum. Maybe Matt. I think there's still quite a few of them in it.
All of them then, basically, yeah.
I like them all, Lee.
You're the guy that buys 40 horses in the Grand National Sweepstake and then jumps for joy when you've won, yeah?
Look, it's not profitable, but you have the winner. You have the Facebook post.
Got a raise to 800,000 from Steve Frew. Dave Amos is all in out of the big blind. Decision back on Steve. As I said, he was the short stack at this table. Is he going to commit here and go for it? He's popped the time bank in to have a little bit more time to think here, Des. In goes another time bank.
Huge decision. He's got dancing fingers, Leigh. I think he'd like to get him in, but it's such a big decision.
Lets it go in the end.
Lets him go.
And Dave Amos scoops up some more chips.
He pulls another one. Get a dealer change. Staff have been magnificent here at Dusseldorf. We expect no less over the entire 6-day duration of this WCOAP. 23 bracelet events. They've all run off faultlessly, apart from the special pineapple. A minor blip in the special pineapple, but we don't talk about that.
It was still pineapple.
It was pineapple, surprisingly, is what it was.
It was just not as we know it, Des, not as we know it. At the end of the day, my view on it is this: if you're all sat down playing a tournament and everyone's playing the same rules at all the tables, level playing field, get on and do it. Yeah, it's poker. Steve Frew is all in again. And is going to get this one through. Elliot makes the call at the big blind. Pocket queens for Elliot, and it's ace 4 for Steve. It's going to be the ace 4 at risk here, Des. Here we go. King, queen, king. Still got outs here. Needs some help. Well, there's a bit of it. Not to be, and we're going to lose Steve Frew in 6th place. Very well played to him. I'm sure we'll be able to have a quick chat with Steve. I'll see if I can do that.
Fantastic. Well played, Steve Frew. Magnificent tournament. Right, there we go. Over to you, Leigh.
Thank you. Let me see if I can get Steve in the interview area for a very quick talk.
All right, over to you guys.
So here I am with Steve Frew, just exited in 6th place at that final table. Great run though, Steve. How was the tournament for you? How did you find that final table?
I'll let you go and take cash. I hope you enjoyed the weekend. I'll catch you later. Thank you very much. There we go. That's
Steve Frew.
And then there was 5 left.
That's really frustrating.
So as I'd said, Leigh, Steve Frew very unlikely to win from that position.
You called it, Des. You called it.
I actually liked his play. We saw a lot of Steve yesterday, and of course we've seen him today. I quite liked his play, I have to say. Not to be, but still, 6th out of 692 runners, magnificent result. Yeah, Carrie is saying the microphone does not work properly. Didn't hear any of that. I think maybe we'll just pull those interviews. Unfortunately, it's just not working for us.
Jimmy's all in and gets it through. Shows pocket sevens. And he's all in very next hand again.
Hello.
And Matthew folds. Chris has only just sat back down, so Jimmy's used the fact that actually it was the last hand was Matthew's big blind, so he shoved it. The others got out of the way. It was it's Chris's small blind this time, whilst he wasn't sat down, so shoved again. And got that one through as well. Amos wasn't going to call, so added a couple of million to his chip stack there in 2 hands. And on we go now. 5 left, so the guys have locked up £4,100 each now. So folded round to Chris on the button, and he's made it $1 million to go. Dave Amos is counting out chips, and he's re-raised it to 2.8 million. Elliot folds. So decision back round on Chris. Chris says I'm all in.
Wow, here we go.
And Dave folds. And Chris shows ace king.
Just leave that camera with you for the moment, Leigh. I will be back to you in a sec.
So Chris raising it up to $1 million. Dave Amos makes the call from the button. Elliot out the way in the small blind, and Jimmy out the way in the big blind. So we're going to see a board of deuce 9-3. Action back on Chris He checks, as does Dave. So it's a 6 apart on the turn. Bet of 1.5 million from Chris this time. And Dave folds. And Chris adds another few to his stack.
Nice. This is what we're playing for, Leigh. You showed us earlier, but there he is, a sparkly bespoke sterling silver bracelet for the WCOAP main event champion, and our gold medal.
Very nice too.
I like that. And Leigh, I know you're going to be pleased to see this. Going out live on pokernews.com. Smart, right?
All good. So, yeah, if you're watching on pokernews.com, hello to all of you. This is the main event of the WCOAP World Champion of Amateur Poker 2023. The main event. 696 runners, £104,400 prize pool. We are down to the final six, and we're seeing another flop, which is a King 8 deuce board. It's Chris and Elliot in this hand at the moment. Chris raised it up under the gun, called by Elliot on the button. They've gone check, check. And we'll see the 4 of spades on the turn. Action back on Chris. Having a little look at Elliot's stack there. And it's gone check, check again, Dave. So we're going to see the use of diamonds as the river card there. Check from Chris. Check from Elliot. Pocket fives for Elliot. And that is going to be good enough to take that down. And on we'll go. Yeah, so if you have just tuning in, or whether it be on pokernews.com or on APAT's Facebook group or APAT's YouTube or on twitch.tv/poker. These are the remaining 5 players. Let me go around and you give them a quick name check.
Yeah, so Leigh, we've got in seat 1 there, Matt Newman. In seat 2, we have Chris Ralston. Seat 3 is Dave Amos. Elliot Crowder in seat 4.
We get all the way around. Give
and
Jimmy his,
all the way around, it's Jimmy Martin. There he is with a thumbs up. Those are your runners and riders, folks.
Raise from Elliot to $1 million. And it's repot by Matthew to 3.2 million out of the small blind. Decision on Chris in the big blind. Blinds are 200k, 400k at the moment. Chris folds. Elliot says, yeah, I'll see a flop, please. So it's about 7 million in the middle already, Dave. Here we go. And it's ace, deuce, king, all spades. And Matt bets 5.2 million, showed ace king. Elliot very quickly folded that. APAT's very own Tom Brady, the amateur poker goat, on the rail, keeping an eye on it.
He doesn't
Been
like the camera, Leigh.
been managing all events this week here at Dusk Dawn on behalf of APAT, and he's the guy that put the schedule together. Deserves a round of applause for that, because it was a stunning 6 days it's been here in Nottingham.
Tom did put the shed in schedule. He fenced the whole thing in.
Put the shed in schedule. Oh, I've heard it all now. He put the shed in schedule. Who is a ducky? Who is a ducky? Tom wouldn't have heard that because I stood next to him and it was in my ear. And
Is that number 7 of the week, Leigh?
It's very good. Very good indeed, yeah. So I think Matthew's playing about 17 million, maybe something like that. Whilst Chris is raising this up out off the bottom to 1 million. So yeah, Matthew's playing about 17 mil. Oh, Dave Amos out of the small blinds repops it to 3.2 million. Chris says I'm all in. Dave says I call. It's pocket queens for Chris. It is ace queen for Dave Amos. The ace queen is going to be at risk here. Dave is going to need to hit an ace. He's already apologising for it. It's deuce, queen, 6 of spades. Dave has the ace of spades, so more outs here. Jack on the turn. It's going to need to be
a spade.
Ace queen or a spade. And it's no, it's not going to say ace queen or spade, should I say, a spade, or it's not going to be anything. And we're going to lose Dave, unfortunately, in 5th place. Trying to get the dealer to slow down there so I could actually just kind of read all of that properly as it was all playing out. But we're going to lose Dave Amos, unfortunately, in 5th place. He's going to pick up £4,100 for his trouble. Superb performance by Dave.
Yeah, he's done very well here.
Very well done to him, and we're down to 4. We are on the medal bubble here in the main event. Very, very well done to him, finishing in 5th place. Apologies for that call on that that flop. All went back a little quick and got my
Dave's
cards in the wrong place there.
Dave's just walked by, his hands a little in the air, a little disappointed perhaps, but he will look back on this as a magnificent performance. To finish so deep in such a big event, great performance, Dave Amos.
What? How about that? No, I you see. Can see.
So we're down to 4 guys. Just to let you know what they are playing for now. So Dave Amos has walked away with £4,100. 4th will get 5,000, 7,000 for 3rd, 10,000 for 2nd, 15,000 for 1st. So a whole £10,000 in variance between 4th and 1st place, Leigh. Hell of a lot to play for.
Yeah, big money up top here now for this event. When we go next hand, Matthew in the small blind, and it is Chris in the big blind. Elliot folds. Jimmy says them all in. Matthew gets out of the way, and Chris is having a look, seeing how much it's going to be, and decides no, not this one. And so Jimmy gets that one through.
Karen Balby says, well played, Dave. Echoing us all there, Karen. Rob Hallworth says, was an amazing festival. Managed to fire into 6 tournaments over 4 days. Thanks for putting it on with lots of mixed games. Up in Edinburgh now for a holiday before the kids go back to school. That sounds like the perfect end to August for me. It was good to have you down, Rob.
And under the gun, Jimmy is all in again. Matt folds out of the button this time. Chris gets out of the way in the small blind. Elliot's big blind. And Elliot's asking for a count. It's 25k short of 5 million. Is the count. And Elliot decides, no, thank you. And on we go.
Not having that, he says.
So raise from Chris on the button to 1.3 million. And that's going to get through, I think.
All entries in the tag team, singles and your single opportunity. It starts in a couple of minutes.
And Jimmy all in again. Out of the small blind this time. Decision on Matt. And Matt's just asking for a count here. Having a proper think about this. And decides to fold in the end. And Jimmy will back them their chips up. That's been his kind of move now for the last 4 bit or so.
Yes, it certainly has. Vamos, Jimmy. And one That's David Burkhardt. Well played, Dave. Kerry Hollick.
So Matt's made it 1.35 million out of the the small blind, I can say. Chris has a little look around to see how many chips he's got. And he re-raises it to 6 million. And Matt folds, going an ace. Chris shows pocket tens. No, Chris makes up small blind here, and Elliot's option is to check in a big. So we're going to see a flop of Jack 8, Jack with a couple of clubs on board there. And it goes check, check. So it's the ace of clubs on the turn. And Chris goes to fire out there. Elliot very quickly folds. And on we'll go. You can see behind the players there the WCOAP main event bracelet and APAT gold medal that the winner's going to pick up. Silver and bronze medals as well.
Yes, please.
Zoom.
We are on the medal bubble here, Leigh. Quite nice to get a medal in this event.
Yeah, blinds are at 250,000, 500,000 now. And Chris, under the gun, raises it up to 1.2 million. Elliot folds, Jimmy folds, and Matt's going to see a flop here with Chris. 9, 10, queen is the board. Goes check, check. So we'll see a 7 of hearts on the turn, bringing up 3 hearts on the board. Check, check again. King of hearts on the river. Million is the bet from Matt. Chris decides to let them go. Matthew chose the ace of hearts, so he was in a good spot there, Des.
Yeah, indeed. So the average now is 17.5 million chips. It's an incredible average. Incredible. £104,000 in the prize pool. It's a record for APAT, the UK.
So Jimmy's all in from the button. Matt out of the way in the small blind, and Chris is asking for a count. So $6.225 million, and Chris folds. So Jimmy gets that one too. So 6.225 million. So he's got about 12 bigs there, Dave. 12 or 13 bigs.
Yeah, I mean, he's still not in trouble.
If you compare, Chris is very much the chip leader here now. I think Chris has probably got just over 20 million of the chips in play, though.
Yeah, he's in good shape. Chris has.
I know, actually, he must have. Actually, no, he must have more than that.
Yeah, average 17.5. He'll have more than that, Leigh.
No, sorry, yeah, he's got just there is a second stack of grey in there actually, so he's got near a 28 million, 27, 28 million. And him and Matt are going to see a flop of deuce 6-7. Matt bets out 2 million. And four on the turn. It's gone check check. 5 on the river brings up the fourth heart. So 4, 5, 6, 7 of hearts now on this board.
Looks tasty, Leigh. All sorts of possibilities there.
Chris bets 3.5 million.
He's going to get a call.
Matt re-raised. No, he's
Is it a re?
re-raised it.
Wow, okay.
And it's all in and call.
Oh, wow, wow, wow.
It's ace 4 of hearts for ace with the ace of hearts for Matt, and it's 8-9 of hearts for Chris. And that is pretty damn incredible.
Wow, straight flush.
Straight flush for Chris, and we're just doing a count to see where we're at, but it's
Wow, crikey. Straight flush on the final table, guys. Was that a 6-card straight flush, Leigh? I know you can't have a 6-card straight flush, but they're all out there, aren't they?
They are, and that is going to be Matt passing in 4th place
Wow, unlucky,
What
sir.
a hand there. We are down to our medalists, Des.
Unlucky, sir. Great effort.
Wow, what a way to get down to the final three.
Incredible stuff.
Even if it's Chris. Yeah, even if it's straight push, now even if it's high push. Running goal? No,
Yowzers.
somebody will give you a piece of plastic. If you go and see Simon, he'll give you the plastic, you take it to the catch desk. Oh yeah, yeah.
So, Chris, even more of a chip leader here. Because Matt was very much second in chips there, and he's just bust him out in an extraordinary hand. Matt thinking he's in such a good spot with the ace high flush, and runs into a straight flush from Chris. Chris and Jimmy going to see a flop here, Des, and it's 10-4-4.
Leaders want to do anything.
And ace on the turn after they go check, check. Jimmy checks. And Chris reaches some chips and Jimmy folds.
So coming to you, Leigh.
I think Jimmy's got about 52 million, I think, of the chips in play, and the other guys have got about 17 between them. If they're kind of, are we roughly about right, guys? Yeah, yeah. There's nodding around the room. Elliot and Jimmy are like, yeah, that feels about right. Yeah, so 52 million roughly is the chip count on our chip leader. Hope you're enjoying this at home, folks. We all good, Des?
Absolutely, Leigh. Just posting up those exits on the Facebook group.
Jimmy's all in. Just getting Chris's ask for a count out the small blind.
Oh, this is all happening now, Leigh. Chris Patterson there, from one Chris to another. Take it home.
Basically 5.5 mil, 5.425.
He's having a think.
He says call.
Wow, here we
go.
go.
And he's flipped his cards over, so it's unfolding anyway. So there's apologies all around, but we'll go this. So it's 9-7 of diamonds for Jimmy. It's Queen Jack for Chris. The 9-7's at risk. Deuce 5-7 doesn't gives a hit for Jimmy. So he's ahead. Needs to avoid a queen or a jack, and he's going to do that. And Jimmy's going to get a double up through Chris. A little dent into Chris's stack, about 10% of his stack there. And Jimmy breathes. To be fair, he's got his chips in a number of times in the last level or so, and that's that important.
Come on, James, says Lynn Martin. From Shay Martin, no doubt. And what a couple of days Mr. Martin has had. Played fantastically well yesterday, and here he is in the top 3 of this main event. And you can't bet against him.
So Chris and Elliot here going to see a flop of deuce 5 jack with a couple of hearts on the board. It's gone check check. But they see the queen of spades to bring the second spade. Elliot checks.
This looks like he's peeling a raise here, Leigh.
Makes it 3.5 million. And Elliot makes the call, Des. We're going to see a river card here. And it's the deuce of clubs on the river. Check from Elliot. Chris says, how much have you got? I think Elliot's got about 6 million behind. Chris says, I'll make it 5. Elliot very quickly folds.
Strong play from Chris.
Jimmy gives a little wry smile. Yeah. Says he had a deuce there. So,
yeah. Need about 3 of them.
Yeah, it might have cost you a bit to get there, but yeah. But yeah. So yeah, pretty much. I mean, what Chris just lost in doubling up Jimmy there, he's just kind of made back most of it in that hand against Elliot. And Elliot is now the short stack at this this final 3. But I would say that Elliot's got about 5 million. I'd say Jimmy's got about 10, and Chris has the other 52 million chips in play. Elliot shoves. Jimmy folds. Chris folds, showing an ace. I can only assume the other card was. We're back to Mrs. Thunder Baker again, aren't we? Yeah.
Indeed, indeed.
So on we go. Blinds are 250,000, 500,000 here. We've got another 17 minutes left of level 31. Final 3 in the main event of the World Champion of Amateur Poker 2023 main event here at Dusk Till Dawn in Nottingham. These guys now have all locked up £7,000. They've all locked up a medal as well, just as importantly. So it's £10,000 for second, £15,000 up top, and of course the WCOAP main event championship bracelet. And a raise from Chris, and Elliot is all in. So Chris actually made it the small blind, and Elliot shoved on the big. So that's what happened there. As is always the way, Des, when we're streaming. Wadey's playing a side event and trying to attract my attention for a conversation. Yeah.
He's after you. He's after your money, Leigh. Tread carefully.
He may well have the most number of captures at Dusk Till Dawn. He's probably top of that list, but yeah, you can't stop an APAT stream when we're in full motion.
No, quite right. That isn't going to work. Assuming I'm looking at the right James Martin on the Hendon Mob, Leigh. James has $26,000 in live cashes. His biggest was at Dusk Till Dawn, where he had a third in the 220, effectively the DTD 200 back in 2017, $8 grand. He's also made some money in GUKPT side events. So
Jimmy is all in out the small blind, and Chris doesn't take a lot of time to think about it. Jimmy shows pocket sevens again. I think that is the fourth time he's had pocket sevens now on this final table. Yeah. And Chris is going, no, sure it's only three. He's like, no, he went for a toilet break. It was another one. So that means Chris is keeping count of this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. I couldn't see a hand mob profile for Chris. May just not be on there. Raise from Jimmy. That through.
It makes a difficult one here for Elliot and Jimmy. Really, I mean,
yeah,
you could argue at this moment in time they're playing for second and third, maybe as to who's going to get which one, because they're so far behind us for a chip leader. But there's still a massive pay jump of £3,000.
£3,000 exactly.
32nd, yeah, which is
you cannot take that seriously. But to be in with a chance of winning this, Leigh, almost certainly one will need to take the other out. They'll need to double. I mean, if Chris takes one of those stacks as well, his heads-up opponent will be extremely short against him.
So Chris raises it up to 1.8 million. Jimmy's got nearly that little glint in his eye. I'm shoving again here, but then decides against it and folds.
£3,000 will do that to you, Leigh.
I'll put a glint in your eye, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how many iPhones is that, Leigh?
For you, yeah, you do all right.
Quite a few, Leigh.
So on we go. It's Elliot on the bubble this time, so it's Jimmy in the small blind, Chris in the big blind, so it'll be Elliot to act first. And he folds. Is Jimmy going to find something to want to shove into Chris here? This will tell you a lot. He's going to make up the small blind. And so Chris checks his options, so we're going to see a flop here, and it is going to be 8 king 10 of heart. And a little bet from Chris, and Jimmy shows pocket 3, so Chris shows the 6-4. So Jimmy was ahead there.
In the real news, Leigh, Dave says, I'll definitely be coming to one of these. By the way, I think Ed is chip leader in the Deuce 7 triple draw.
Good for him. Hope he keeps it going.
Yeah.
So on we go. Action on Jimmy. First to act here. And he folds. So is Chris going to apply pressure into Elliot's big blind here? He's reaching for a few chips. What's he going to make it? He makes it 1.65 million, and Elliot folds. Gets expensive for Elliot though, Des, because that's it's 255 per 1,000 now, so that's 1 million chips every orbit is costing in the big blind.
Yeah, his range will be reducing ever so slightly with each one of these orbits.
And probably Elliot's only got there about 4.5, 5 million now.
In which case he's in the funnel, isn't he? He's on his way out unless he gets them in and quickly. Elsewhere, Leigh, the mix max 29 remaining of 74.
So Chris is reaching for some chips here out of the button, and again is applying pressure on the blinds where the other two are in. Elliot's all in small blind. Chris has already put in 1.6 million here. Decision on Jimmy first out of the big blind.
Well, he'll start with more chips.
And he's all in as well. Chris says, I'm all in. We got a three-way all in here. This could be all right. Let's see this goes right, nice and slow till we can get all this sorted. So let's start. Elliot has got 4-3 of spades. It's pocket eights for Jimmy. Chip leader has got the king. So it's the 3-4 and eights at risk.
Nice and slowly, dealer.
So it's queen, queen, jack.
10
King's
could
still
be
ahead.
fruity.
Another queen.
Wow.
And that's good.
Is that it?
And that's going to be it. And we're going to be done. So it's going to work. Let me just tell you how this is going to play out. So Elliot is going to finish in third as the shortest stack. So very well done to him. He's going to pick up the bronze medal. Jimmy is going to be our silver medalist. And Chip leader dominated this from a few out and ends with kings to win it.
Wow.
Chris is going to be a winner. And look, his beer has just arrived.
Oh,
Chris
yeah,
is
there
our
we go.
winner. How about that? What a way to go. Chris is going to be our winner. We got a little bit of setting up and everything to go on here, Des, so we'll get this all sorted. But that's it, all over in one hand. What a way to go. What a way to go. Des is busy going to get some people. We're going to get stuff set up, some photos here and see what we can do. I'm wondering whether I can absolutely. You run to the toilet, and then I'll have a chat with you. Yeah, if we can do that. Yeah, brilliant. So Chris is going to run to the loo whilst we're setting up here, and then I will we'll get back and try and see if we can have a quick chat to Chris. It's as done as that. Did you get all that, Simon? Okay, so Elliot finished in third because it was a three-way all in. Elliot had the shorter stack,
wow.
So he finishes in third. Jimmy finishes in second.
An incredible finish here. Chris Ralston is going to take the title of APAT WCOAP main event champion.
And Chris has just gone to the loo, so he'll be back in a minute.
Tom is up here with the camera. We'll set the seating position up and we'll start to take those pictures that you'll see across social media later today. Wow.
Tom, you can snap those there if you want.
Well, guys, I'm going to shut down the stream now as the players are all away from the table at the moment.
Do you want me to talk to him?
Yeah, actually. But
I'm going to try I'm just going to try it here. With off that.
We're going to keep it going, guys. So Leigh's going to try and interview Chris, the winner. Let's see if we can do that in a couple of minutes. So just bear with us for a minute as we set up for this final set of photographs. Wow, what a finish. Pair of kings.
Incredible.
Beautiful.
Absolutely
hand.
incredible. I mean, I think Elliot suited connectors there. You can see him just going, okay, I'm short stack, I'll get that in, see what happens.
Gonna
Runs
have two
into the
lives.
eights and the kings, and yeah, absolutely what a way. And that's how the board played out.
Unbelievable stuff indeed, Brendan. Unbelievable.
So we'll see how he goes. Let me see. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll have a bit of a quick word with Jimmy, just what he makes of all of that. Jimmy, that was a bit nuts, wasn't it?
I don't think we could have played it any other way, to be fair.
Yeah. Chris.
I assume Chris was, isolated.
But how do you find the event in whole?
Brilliant.
Well, many congratulations. Hopefully we'll see you at future APAT events. Nice one. Cheers. There we go. There's Jimmy finishing in second place.